Welcome to Dr. Pai's Astrology channel. I am Nav and I'm here today with someone who needs no introduction. He's well known for his research in the areas of nakshatras and astrocartography. He's here today to share his insight on his new research work on the understanding of our soul through many lifetimes using Jyotish. I now welcome Kṣaṇāti to share his study and research with us. Welcome.
Namaste, Navjeet. Thank you so much. It's such a blessing and honor to have this interview and discuss this research with you. It is my pleasure. It's such a exciting topic to discuss what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited because I always wanted to know our past lives through, nodes and what we were in the past life, what we're here to do. So how did your love to astrology, nakshatras, and astrography started? Like, how did you get into astrology?
Currently I have my website, jyotishastrology.org, and my YouTube channel, Kṣaṇāti Jyotish. But originally, I was born into a Jewish family, but my godfather, he was a Hindu. And when I was about 18 years old, I go on a journey with him, and he's kirtan singer. So I learned Sanskrit language and I learned chanting with him, and I get introduced to Jyotish at this time. But I don't understand or focus on my studies on Jyotish at this time. A few years later, I enrolled in the Ayurvedic Institute in Albuquerque, New Mexico, organized by Dr. Vasant Lad. And one of the electives being taught there by Simon Chikoisky at the time, Siddhadeva, was a Jyotish astrology. So I sign up for the elective. And by the end of the course, Simon says, you got to be doing this astrology. This is your dharma. You need to take this to the next level. And eventually, all of my fellow students were asking me to interpret their chart. Then other teachers were asking me to interpret the chart. Then I was so busy doing consultation that I didn't even have the full time for my Ayurvedic study anymore. So I had to retire from studying up the Ayurveda and focus strictly on the Jyotish. And that was about 5 years ago now. So I've been focusing strictly on the Jyotish research for 5 years now, and in the process done, many different consultations, probably up to around 1,000 by now. So I'm just getting a lot of experience, getting a lot of practice, and I also studied with Mahadev Levine. He's out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. He's a great Vedic astrologer through the AMA organization. And so I've had many amazing teachers, Dr. Vasant Lad, Simon Chikoisky, Mahadev Levine. And I've also loved the ancient texts. So the Brihat Parasha or Shastra, I read this many times. I studied this with the Sanskrit language and tried to understand it. And so I just fell in love with Jyotish this way. But once I understood I was Rahu ascendant, it explained many things about my life. And I no longer questioned the validity of the astrology because it had explained so much to me at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And astrography in particular. So how did that?
The astrocartography started out as a hobby because I started to be interested in the different energies of affecting people where they are. And I became did a lot of research with the science to understand that to associate Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha with the astrocartography. So to combine the Vedic astrology with the astrocartography so that you could find out where you can go for Dharma, where you can go for Artha, where you can go for Kama, where you can go for Moksha. Because the astrocartography is good, but it's very generalized. But when you apply the Vedic astrology to it, it becomes much more specific for helping people achieve the traditional pillars, the traditional aims of the Vedic life.
Okay. Yes, lot of astrology is just deep ocean, a lot, right? And it just helps a lot. Like, you can read and just learn a lot about ourselves, right? So I'm excited to know how Rahu Ketu works, so we can start with it.
Okay, so the first example I have prepared here, can you see my screen, Navji?
Yes, I can see.
The first example I have prepared here is my guru, Mata Amritananda Mai. And first thing I must say is that she is the Sat Guru. And the Sat Guru has transcended their chart. So before we even look at my guru's chart, first we say that as a soul, she has transcended it. She has transcended cycle of reincarnation. She has achieved the moksha. She has achieved the Mahasamadhi. So she is here because she wants to be here to help us out during the Kali Yuga, but she doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And I just like to make that clear that this is not a human being we're dealing with, but a fully enlightened Maha Satguru. Now, first thing you'll notice, her ascendancy is an exalted Saturn.
Yeah.
So you know there is strong past lifetime energy of service orientation through her dharma and everything like that, and that there will be a lot of service orientation towards her dharma in this lifetime. But we're going to be focusing on past lifetimes and how that creates a certain karma in this lifetime through Rahu and Ketu.
Yes.
So we look at her position of Ketu in Cancer in the 10th house of the divisional 1 chart.
Okay.
And I believe that it is in the Nakshatra. The Saturn is in the Nakshatra of Chitra, and the ascendant is in Vishaka.
Okay. So she has Vishaka ascendant?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but going back to the Ketu and the Cancer, we look at Ketu and we see Ketu is in Pushya Nakshatra. And we know that Pushya Nakshatra has influence of Shani Deva. So we see exalted Saturn her and her ascendant, and then we see her past lifetimes also connected through Pushya to Shani as well.
Yeah.
But if you were to kind of, when we look into past lifetimes, we talk about there are so many different possibilities. So it requires a certain level of intuition.
Okay.
You can't look at a chart scientifically and say, okay, this is the past lifetime of the person. Generally, when I am having experience of this is a past lifetime of the person, my eyes are closed and I feel strong intuition deep inside of myself as to this is what's resonating for me as to the karmic journey of the individual. Okay. Now, when I look at Alma's position of Ketu in Cancer in the 10th house, I think of her past lifetimes in the sign of Cancer. And I think of the Divine Mother.
Yeah.
And I think of support, and I think of care, and I think of sympathy, and I think of empathy. And I think of being a mother and having a career which had a motherly energy. And there is no argument she carries that energy into this lifetime as well, if you call the service that she does part of her life purpose.
Yeah, right.
But there is a strong vibration from the Ketu and Cancer vibration also that in the past lifetime, she was very oriented towards the betterment of humanity and the betterment of mankind. And because of Cancer, she cared very much about her family. She cared very much about her homeland. She cared very much about her geography, as far as this is the land which I am from. This is my homeland.
Yeah.
So these are some of the past lifetime vibrations you can think of for Amma, but we're not really working on the resolution of her karma. because her karma is resolved.
Yeah.
But we can still start to see some of the past lifetime vibrations that come from Amaji's chart.
Wow.
So because of her past lifetimes of this vibration, what does it create as far as a karma of in this lifetime? And so we look at Rahu position at Capricorn in 4th house. And she has traveled all over world.
Yeah.
She's in India, she is in United States, she is in Canada, she is in Europe, she is in the Asia, she is in everywhere, all across the world.
Yeah.
So now you start to get past lifetime picture a little bit. So in past lifetime, she had this career of service, same kind of divine mother energy, but travel was limited.
Travel was limited.
You couldn't take a plane to go to California to give hugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You couldn't fly to Europe to get darshana.
And we see that through Rahu's position in the 10th house, right?
In the 4th house, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
It shows that in this lifetime, there's a lot of karma for her to kind of travel and move around and bring her darshana and her wisdom and her spiritual enlightenment to the world as a whole. So the whole world is supposed to know of Amma.
Okay.
And as you can see, she is one of most popular saints.
Yeah. And humanitarian, right?
And she's very humanitarian, raising millions of dollars for humanitarian causes in her home country of India, building toilets, service to the hungry, and much, much more.
Interesting.
So there is this energy of bringing the bliss, the Ananda to the Western world. Like when we might look at Yogananda's chart later, we can see he had a similar karma of he had past lifetime of being this wise spiritual teacher, but he had to bring that wisdom to the rest of the world.
Okay.
And so you can see Amma has this strong karma of divine mother vibration as part of her life purpose. But service through the divine mother. But you can also see in this lifetime how she'll have to travel and be very much international in order to, as part of her karma.
Okay.
And that's why you can get a hug from her in pretty much any major city across the world.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is just a little example of some energy of what you can see past lifetimes through the chart. We can pull up another example if you wish, or you can ask any questions about Amma's chart.
And then, so for example, past life of this person, right? So do we see it as like the very recent? How do we know which life? Or with Amma's chart, would it be like many, many lifetimes of service?
Yeah. So with Amma's chart, it would be more complicated because her karma is complete as a Satguru.
Okay.
But generally speaking, whichever life carries the most karma, that will carry its most impression into the chart, into the next lifetime.
Okay.
So whichever past lifetimes of hers has most karma accumulation, that will get processed into the next life.
Okay.
So it's not, we don't know how recent, but we know that there's a lot of karma there.
Okay.
And we know with Ketu that most of the karma is complete, and in Amma's case, all of the karma is complete.
Yeah.
She can be no more divine mother than she is.
Okay.
She can be no wiser.
Yeah.
She can be no greater healer.
Yeah.
She can bring others to moksha.
Yeah, and to the heart energy.
And to liberate people upon their path.
Yeah.
So she's complete her karma with Ketu. So it's very interesting as we get more into the other examples of people who have incomplete karma with Ketu, but with Amma, we have the completion of her karma with the Ketu.
Okay.
And just in this lifetime, a lot of traveling and sharing of that wisdom internationally, which is with Rahu related karma.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So this was a next example that was sent in from a close friend, and I just wanted to use it, but they didn't want to give their name, so we just have anonymous listed.
Sure.
But first thing that you see about this person is they are a Ketu Jupiter Scorpio ascendant. And that Ketu, by Lord Parashara standard, is exaltation in Scorpio. And then Ketu and Jupiter are both spiritual planet. And Jupiter is comfortable in the Scorpio sign.
Okay.
And so we have a lot of strong past lifetime energies here coming from the ascendancy. I have Jyotish as the ascendant Nakshatra.
Okay.
But Ketu in Jyotish and Jupiter in Anuradha, which is Saturn ruled.
Okay.
But as far as Jyotish, we have a strong influence here of the elder. So we're getting into some strong past lifetime energies here.
Okay.
So from a past lifetime perspective, first of all, you look at other thing in your chart and you see Saturn Moon conjunction in 12th house, not to get too distracted.
Okay.
But Saturn is also exalted. And this is house of ashram, of spiritual pilgrimage. We know this. Now, Ketu and Jupiter, Scorpio vibration in the Jyotish Nakshatra mixed with the Anuradha Nakshatra, it kind of brings different kind of past lifetime vibrations.
Okay.
If you look at the Jyotish vibration, you're looking at a past lifetime as some kind of elder or wise saint.
Okay.
A Brahmin, a priest.
Okay.
Someone who is looked to for their wisdom, for their mystical abilities, possibly a guru, and a guru very connected to the mystical realm.
Okay.
So this person in their past lifetime could have been some kind of spiritual teacher or spiritual guru.
Okay.
But then Anuradha being brought down to the Jupiter.
Okay.
And that shows that there might be servitude. So there's past lifetimes and this person was a priest.
Okay.
But also past lifetimes in which they may have been servant.
May have been, sorry, I missed that?
Servant.
Servant, okay.
So again, when we think of the reincarnation cycle, we think of many past lifetimes, and maybe some carry many karmic debt from many different lifetimes, and they are all trying to get processed through into this lifetime so that we complete our karmic journey, so that we complete our karmic cycle. Now, from a past lifetime perspective of Ketu Jupiter ascendancy, because of energy of your own spiritual path being your this person, their own spiritual path being their focus in the past lifetime, it creates an energy in which they were unlikely to be married.
Okay.
So this is something I see very often in my consultation.
Okay.
So we have Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And we know that the final aim of life is Moksha. And that within Moksha, the final aim is Mahasamadhi.
Okay.
And there is no question that in this person's chart, they are on their way there.
Okay.
There's no question in their past lifetimes they have been focused on trying to get there.
Okay.
However, Damartakama mokshanam, arogyamula mutamam, rogas tasya pahataraha shreyasho jivatasya cha. We think of the moksha as the ultimate aim of life. But there is no moksha without dharma. There is no moksha without artha. There's no moksha without kama.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people who are on this spiritual path, very close to the moksha, they have to come back to fulfill some human aim of life.
Okay.
And the Rahu falls in the 7th house of marriage under kama. So it show in the past lifetime, this person focus on spirituality and religion, and they renunciate marriage.
Okay.
They renounce against the marriage. And then this would be indicated also somewhat by the Saturn moon exaltation. But in this lifetime, to complete their karma so that they can get closer to moksha, then they would have to become married.
Okay.
So basically, it's whatever part of their life they need to complete so that they can prepare for the moksha.
Okay.
As if we can get to moksha without going through dharma, artha, and kama first, but we cannot. Damarta kama moksha. So there's, in this chart, we see someone having to experience kama through marriage to a person.
In this lifetime.
In this lifetime, in preparation for their eventual and very close mahasamadhi.
Okay. And is that for everybody who has Rahu Ketu in the 1 and 7th axis? Or
oh yeah, anyone who has Ketu in the 1st house and Rahu in the 7th house, depending on, of course, other planets and positions, they might have not been married before this lifetime.
Okay. And then, of course, if the planets are there, so for example, with Ketu and Jupiter, that changes, the conjunction will change?
Of course.
Okay.
So if you had Sun Mercury in Scorpio there, it might not necessarily have to do with their karma. It might anything to do with the romance or relationship or anything like that. It might have to do with them achieving some sort of individual goal or goal from their own will.
Okay.
Or if the Sun and Mercury were in Aries there. But maybe if Venus's and Moon were there, that would also suggest something romantic.
Okay. So that changes a bit there.
Yeah, so you really have to take a look at the conjunction there. But looking at these two spiritual planets, you see someone who's focused on moksha in their past lifetime, but hasn't experienced kama fully, which is their block to the moksha.
Okay, so in this lifetime, they're here to experience the kama.
The kama, which in this case would show up exalted in the 7th house of marriage.
Okay.
Your Rahu, the anonymous chart here is exalted Rahu.
Yeah.
So that would mean, okay, maybe the partner will be very interesting.
Yeah.
But it will be the good kind of interesting.
Okay.
Luckily,
yeah.
we don't have Rahu in an uncomfortable position, uncomfortable sign here.
Okay. And then when Rahu, for example, it also matters which nakshatra it's going to be. So, for example, Rohini to Mrigashira.
Yeah, so Mrigashira would show in this lifetime your partner is meant to be a very mystical, spiritual, this anonymous person, their partner is meant to be a spiritual, mystically focused individual.
Okay.
Someone who is kind of even though it's ruled by Mars, it's one of the most spiritual Mars Nakshatra.
Okay.
And there's this vibration of them being a spiritual seeker, someone who wants to obtain spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom.
Okay. So that's the energies partner will be bringing as well, or wanting to achieve, right?
Yeah. But if you want to look at your Jyotish Nakshatra vibration, or the anonymous vibration of the Jyotish Nakshatra, you'll see that in the past lifetime, this person has always been the elder.
Okay.
That means if they would be matriarch of the family, like the great grandmother.
Okay.
Or the oldest sister.
Okay. And then probably these energies are somehow bringing in this lifetime too, and maybe they're unconscious, right?
Of course, we call that samskara.
Okay.
So the samskara is whatever impression we have from our, not in Amma's case, but in this individual, regular human being's case, yes, we carry the samskara. So that would mean there could be still some pending karma in the growth of the enlightenment. So even though this person has gotten closer to the enlightenment in the past lifetime,
okay,
that through the completion of their marriage karma, it will bring them closer to the enlightenment.
Okay, interesting.
So maybe there's just another element that of wisdom that their partner has to offer them.
Okay.
But the thing about the Ketu Jupiter Scorpio ascendant is that's one of the wisest ascendants I could see.
Okay.
So the partner would equally have to be willing to always be learning from the great guru, which is whoever this person is definitely have a lot of past lifetime wisdom.
Okay.
But Ketu is a tail with no head.
Yeah.
It is sometimes blind to its own wisdom. But it's with Jupiter, which is also the karaka for the husband.
Okay.
So maybe that will help unlock the wisdom of this individual as well. Okay. And if this person is a man, maybe their wife. And if this person is a woman, maybe their husband.
Okay. Interesting.
So these are just two examples. We did one example of someone who's complete their karma. Another person who has not completed their karma. Why not take a look at myself, since I have some experience here? Now, recently we saw someone who had a Ketu in the first house and a Rahu in the seventh house. Here we have it flipped where Rahu is in the ascendancy and Ketu is in the seventh house. Okay. Now, like the last person, the Rahu is comfortable because the Rahu is in its natural sign of Aquarius. And the Ketu is also in its considered well-positioned nakshatra of Purva Falguni, and Rahu is in an even more exalted nakshatra of Satabhisha. Okay. So here the person's strongest planet in this individual's chart, which is mine, is Rahu. There's no planet which is stronger than Rahu, although Jupiter and Rahu are contending for power. Okay. Now, what it kind of means for most people with Ketu in the seventh house, and for me, that I have been married many, many, many lifetimes. Okay. I have always been spouse. Okay.
Seventh house, right?
Yeah, and it's also in Purva Falguni, which is Venus Nakshatra.
Okay.
So I'm natural romantic, and I always want to find my soulmate. And for past lifetime, I'm always looking for my soulmate. And I always get married to the person who I think is my soulmate. Many, many lifetimes I have been married. And what happens is then that becomes my top priority. Okay. And wherever someone has Ketu and their past lifetime karma, this can show where the samskara, as we call it, it become our top priority again. So not in my current marriage, but in past relationship, partner can be distraction.
Okay.
Partner does not allow you to investigate your curiosity. Partner does not allow you to be yourself. Partner tried to control you.
Okay.
Partner try to change you. Partner try to make you different than you are.
Okay.
And admittedly, I'm a strange individual or a weird person. So it's okay if you want me to trim my beard. But when it comes to the essential nature of my soul, this I cannot change.
Yeah.
So, until I have found my wife, in many of my relationships, it kind of shows this energy where if the partner, most of my partners that I get into in this lifetime have already been my partners in my past lifetime.
Okay. And that's something with the synastry, right? In the chart, you can.
Yeah, with the Ketu in the 7th house here.
Okay.
And this is common also if someone has a Ketu Venus conjunction in their chart.
Okay.
Or if Ketu is in 5th house.
Okay.
But that if the relationship didn't work in the past lifetime, well then why would it work in this one? It would not.
Okay.
But unlike Amma, I still have pending karma.
Okay.
So there is still some pending karma with my Ketu.
Okay.
There is someone, I believe my wife, and for whatever reason in the past lifetime, one of us die young.
Okay.
And if you see on my forehead, I have the widow peak.
Okay.
This is the sign of widow. And Ketu in the 7th house can also be sign of widow, especially when we're looking from past lifetime perspective.
Okay, interesting.
So even though I probably shouldn't date my ex-wives from my past lifetimes,
Yeah.
whichever one I didn't complete my life with, which means the one that I lost and had to be widow, or she had to be widow, well, that is still karma, which is to be completion.
Okay.
So I'm currently married, I'm very happily married, and I believe it's the completion of my karma.
Okay.
But also you must look at the Rahu. And Rahu is fiercely strong here.
Yeah. No,
and it shows that I have many occult esoteric interests. As you know, I'm an astrologer. And so I don't know in America, but many women, they want their husband to be doctor.
Yeah.
They want their husband to be lawyer. My whole family is lawyer.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Judge and lawyers.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They want them to have job within society.
Yeah.
But my Rahu ascendancy is so strong, it's impossible.
Yeah.
My dad even sells the wine.
Your dad sells the wine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought I would try, but still, it was too close to society.
Okay.
I only lasted the job for 2 weeks. This was way before I found astrology.
Okay.
So it kind of shows, as you know, Aquarius is a fixed sign, so there's some fixed karma. Satta Bishak ruled by Rahu, 100 medicines. So my dharma is to be Jyotish.
Yeah.
And my wife, she has to support this.
Okay.
My other girlfriend, before my wife,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't believe in me the way my wife does.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, my wife truly believe in me and believe in my intuition and believe in my gifts, and she says she experienced them herself.
Wow. Interesting.
So it's very compatible in that aspect, but just in general, yes, I'm always going to be mystically occult oriented and focused.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as someone tries to distract me from that, it's not, Ketu is going to try to take that force away or make that force more distant.
Okay. And does it, how does it change if some, like for instance, if Ketu and Rahu is exalted versus it being in, you know, a sign where they're not exalted or not strong? So does it change the, like is it, there is a more karma versus exalted versus less exalted or debilitated?
Okay, so you mean the position of the nodes?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we have to discuss theoretically that many astrologers, many great Vedic philosophers, and Jyotisha believe that Rahu and Ketu have no dignity.
Okay.
But I believe Rahu and Ketu have dignity because I see Rahu act better in certain position and I see Ketu act better in certain position.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that there was a really difficult Rahu here. Let me think of one here. Rahu and Mars in Cancer ascendant.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Okay. This person would probably have lots of trouble in relationship,
Mm-hmm.
possibly abuse in their relationship,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
possibly be an abusive person. And also it would kind of show that their mystical or occult interests
Yes. Mm-hmm.
are less sattvic.
Okay. Interesting.
So yes, we do definitely want to take into the dignity into consideration when determining whether kind of like how the karma is going to manifest as far as their actions and their interests and things like that, especially with Rahu.
Mm-hmm. I know someone who has their seventh lord, the Libra ascendant seventh lord in Cancer, Mars in Cancer with Rahu, and yes, they have been, you know, abusive relationships and
Yeah, and so Ketu is in the first house,
yeah.
but they have this completion of karma, but Rahu is a head which has no tail. So they're supposed to have relationship, but they still think they're supposed to have more, but they might only not supposed to have more.
Okay, interesting.
That's something I've also found in my research is that sometimes Rahu karma is satisfied, but the person does not know it because Rahu is always hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more example.
Sure.
And then depending on the community response, I have some more examples. We can do some discussions. Let's see here. What do you think, Gandhi or Einstein?
Let's do Gandhi.
Okay, so we'll save Einstein and some other examples like Yogananda that I have for next time.
Yeah, for
It'll be very fun. So we look very powerfully and we see that Ketu is in the 5th house of education.
Okay.
And that we know Mahatma Gandhi was a very well-educated man. Now he took a life of renunciation, but before that, he was a very well-educated man. And also, the Ketu is in sign of Capricorn.
Yeah.
So he has always been about overcoming the adversity, overcoming the test, overcoming the challenge, overcoming the obstacle. And so there's a lot of past lifetime energy here of him kind of learning how to overcome specific obstacles, whatever obstacles there may be.
Yeah.
Now I have the Ketu Nakshatra as Shravana.
Okay.
And that Shravana is a moon nakshatra. And if you quickly look, he has moon as his Atmakaraka.
Okay.
He has moon as his Atmakaraka with Rahu in Cancer in 11th house.
Okay.
So strong moon connection between his Rahu and Ketu. Now, who loved his land more than Gandhi?
Yeah.
Who is willing to fight and protect and defend his land more than Gandhi? He willing to get beaten. He willing to get starving. He willing to do all of these amazing things in order so that his point, his educated, fair point, will be received by the society.
Yes.
Now, in the past lifetime, despite his well-education, he was a man who cared much more about the, because Capricorn kind of represents people of poverty, people of lower caste and things like this, that he was very much in service and care towards the lower people. And it's possible he has past lifetime, even though in this lifetime, he was very well educated and of higher caste. In the past lifetime of the lower caste.
Okay.
And it shows a lot of energy, yes, in terms of him fighting and overcoming adversity in order for him to achieve his goals.
Okay.
Now, if you look at his Rahu in his 11th house, strong with moon, there's a lot of passion and enthusiasm there. And this is a Kama house, not Dharma house. In past lifetime, he find his Dharma, what his purpose is. As a defender of his country, as a defender of his people. He had found his Dharma. In this lifetime, he is to actually serve that Dharma.
Okay.
And this is the Kama of the fulfillment of him achieving independence for his country, which is moon of the Atmakaraka. And the moon being in the natural sign. So that no one could be in, it was part of Gandhi's karma, to summarize it simply, that in his lifetime, no other country could be in possession of India but India. That is Gandhi's karma.
And which nakshatras is Rahu and Moon?
The Rahu is in Pushya and the moon is in Ashlesha.
Okay.
And that Rahu and Pushya, again, goes back towards this service orientation. In this lifetime, it's very service oriented what he is doing. He is making great sacrifice for the world. For his country, for the greater cause.
Yeah, that's right.
So these are just some examples which I wanted to discuss. If this gets good response, we'll be happy to discuss more. Individuals can send in their charts, and maybe we can even take a look at some examples of people who send in their charts to my email is ksanati@gmail.com. We'll see how the response from the community is on this.
Yes, and then where can they reach you? Will you send me a link and I'll put it below? So if they want to have a consultation, or do you want to send in your charts, their charts to you?
Of course, that would be my honor. I'll send that over.
Okay, and I just had a quick question. I had written a few questions if you have time. So Rahu is said to be the outlet and Ketu is said to be the inlet, right? So how do you observe these karmas align in this dicta? Like how do we?
Yeah, in terms of the inlet, Ketu is what you allow to come to you.
Okay.
Because your past lifetime karma has accumulated there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if you go and you seek it, it create much trouble.
Okay.
So you let it come to you.
Okay.
Inlet, let it in.
Okay.
Don't go to seek your Ketu karma.
Okay.
So for me, for example, I find my wife when I give up on marriage.
Okay.
And actually, she also gave up on marriage.
Okay.
And
So
then we find each other and we're like, let's get married as soon as possible.
Okay.
So, yes. And then the outlet, Rahu shows what action you have to take to complete the karma.
Okay. So if someone has Rahu in the 7th house, they should be moving towards the 7th house activities or moving towards the relationship and making it work.
Yeah, they should have it, or they should get married and divorced at least once.
Okay.
There's another way of putting it. They have to get married at least once.
Okay.
They can get divorced, though. I've seen it where they get married and divorced, and that's also okay.
Okay.
But they do have to get married, and they want to go towards that direction.
Okay. And, Rahu is being always associated with paternal grandfather and Ketu with maternal. So how do you see these karmas related to ancestors in one's chart? Like,
Yeah. When we look at the ancestral karma associated with these nodes, it could get very complicated because you begin to take on the karma of your mother, of your grandmother, on your mother's side, then on your father's side, your father, your grandfather, all of these things like that. So first we focus on our karma, but we understand that as we start to complete our karma, these are the karmas which are left incomplete by our ancestor.
Okay. And
so if you look at maybe the path of some of your ancestor, you are completing the karma with Ketu, which they did not get to complete.
Okay.
Then with Rahu, you're taking the actions that they were not allowed to take.
Okay.
Like, for example, in other time, I wasn't allowed to be, know my ancestors were Jewish. I could get in a lot of trouble for that.
Okay.
But now it's safe to say that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I can, if you want to be reached for consultation, JyotishAstrology.org, and I'm on YouTube.com/Kṣaṇāti Jyotish. My email is KṣaṇātiJyotish@gmail.com. Dr. Pai, Navjeet, and I hopefully will be working together much more. And it was such a pleasure to discuss this topic with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.